Good morning. I'm Dan DeRosa with 19 News Now, coming to you from our digital desk. The first of its kind, really a historic judgment, was announced yesterday. A Summit County judge, a judge in Akron, awarded an Akron family $18 million from the producer of fentanyl out of China. It is a cartel, as it's described in the lawsuit. The Zhang cartel, they produce the fentanyl and then ship it into the United States in various ways. We're talking about the Raw family. Thomas Raw, had gotten addicted to pain pills back in 2014-15 after a rollerblading accident. And it's the same story we have heard, unfortunately, over and over again. That pain pill addiction then led to the use of heroin, that then led to a fatal dose of fentanyl or carfentanil in the case of Tommy Raw. He passed away in 2015. Ever since then, his family, especially his father, Jim Raw, has made it his personal mission to bring awareness to just how serious this is. As if the numbers of people who have died in our own communities is not enough, he has taken it a step further, like this lawsuit. This is his son, Tommy Raw, again, passed away in 2015, was trying to get treatment for his addiction, but it was just too strong. And then that fatal dose of carfentanil. We're going to bring in now his father, Jim Raw. Jim, welcome. It is a pleasure to have you. I am sorry for your loss, but it looks like with this announcement yesterday, your mission is working. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on. Tommy died in 2015 from a lethal dose of acetyl fentanyl that was sent to a drug dealer in Akron, Ohio. And then the Akron police, and the Justice Department traced that all the way back to the Zhang drug trafficking organization and indicted them for his death in 2018. They sent a contingent over there to prosecute the Zhangs, and they prosecuted them for 3 days, putting on all the evidence in front of the Ministry of Justice. They deliberated for 45 minutes, came back and said that they were not going to incarcerate or punish the Zhangs, and our contingency left empty-handed. The Zhangs were then confronted in the marketplace by 60 Minutes and say, what do you have to say to all the families of the kids that you're killing in the United States? At that time, the reporter was accosted by the Chinese secret police and escorted from the country and his visa revoked. That was 2018. And since then, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Americans have been killed by this poison that's infiltrating our society.
You like to call this a weapon of mass destruction. Why such a harsh term?
This is a slow motion weapon of mass destruction. That's already been found out by the Council for Combating Synthetic Opioids that was commissioned by the U.S. government. We filed the Freedom of Information Act against Homeland Security. They finally produced a document from 2018 saying that they know that fentanyl is a potential weapon of mass destruction. This material is going to go from distribution to dispersion, no matter what. And we did the statistics that found that it's the #1 killer of 18 to 45-year-olds. That wasn't done by the United States government. That was done by Families Against Fentanyl. We took the governmental data and discerned that, because we wanted to point out how bad this is getting. Now I'm seeing babies and children getting killed by incidental contact. This is because of the prevalence of material. There's so much material here that it's killing innocent kids. Now it's coming to the point where it's going to reach the tipping point and it's going to go into the general public by acts of terrorism or some other kind of national security threat. Imagine this in the hands of the Oklahoma City bombers or any of the other terrorists, like the 9/11, of course, would be unbelievably bad. But even something like the Boston Marathon. This is a weapon of opportunity. It's an incredibly powerful poison, and it comes in all different sizes and flavors. With the WMD designation, we can effectively cut off the supply of the major precursor, which is ANPP. We know where those factories are located. We can stop all those shipments before they even come to Mexico. We have all kinds of financial abilities, and the United States has the full regalia of military intelligence and social workers to take care of this problem without having our people being destroyed.
Jim, your passion is clear and apparent. We're speaking with Jim Raw, who he and his family awarded $18 million by a judge in Summit County. Let's state the obvious. As you said, our Justice Department has already gone over and tried to indict the Zhang Corporation, the makers of this fentanyl, particularly that killed your son. An $18 million judgment out of Akron, Ohio. Does this hold any weight? Is this symbolic more than it is an actual lawsuit settlement?
Absolutely, it's symbolic. It's symbolic of what we're trying to get done that our government isn't. They're remiss in their duties. They know that we're getting inundated. All of these seizures are indicative of stockpiling. We're getting afraid that there's so much material here that just because of its prevalence, there's going to be a mass casualty event. And Department of Homeland Security has already acknowledged that. We're finding it in the sewage systems. They're monitoring how much fentanyl is now in the wastewater. And it's astounding. It's going to go into a mass poisoning event, and it can be prevented. We can stop this.
Jim, very interesting idea there, and threatening that could happen, a threat that could happen at any point. Jim, I want you to give people a message. You have unfortunately gone through this. You lost your son to fentanyl, carfentanil. Send a message to anyone who has a family member who maybe is doing the rehab, where they get into rehab, they leave, they don't come out completely clean. What is your message to families that are dealing with this right now?
You can get help. There's lots and lots and lots of social help for people with substance use disorder. This is a terrible, terrible disease that's not very well understood, and people recover. You can have a wonderful, productive life. You can get better. You know, alcoholism's been known for a long time, and substance use disorder follows that same type of compulsion. These people lose their free will to their need for this chemical, and they become enslaved by it. It's one of the worst destinies that you can get, where you even hate yourself for what you feel like doing. And, you know, you can get better. You can have a great life. You can move on from it, but not, you know, if somebody takes your life from you, you have many, many chances. This ends those chances. And we know that there's a better life ahead, and we don't have to live with this threat in our country.
And Jim, you are again a champion for this cause. He, after his son's passing, created Families Against Fentanyl. It is a nonprofit. You can go to their website. A lot of good information there. We want to appreciate the time that you have taken. The announcement was made in southern Ohio. You're on your way back from there, back to the Akron area. So we certainly appreciate the time and your passion and your fight against what is killing hundreds and thousands of people in Northeast Ohio in the past 10 years. The number is hard to comprehend. Jim, thank you very much for the time, and we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you so much for having me on. This is so important, and it's wonderful of you guys to make it known.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jim. Be safe on your travels. This is, again, just an announcement that was made yesterday. Is it symbolic? Are they going to get $18 million from a company in communist China? No. But as you heard from Mr. Raw, this sends a message that this can't be taken lightly, and that more needs to be done. As Mr. Raw is saying, it needs to be done at the federal level to try and stop this garbage from coming into our country. If we have any other breaking news, we're going to bring it to you here on our digital platforms. Our 11 o'clock news just 15 minutes away on CW43. And then I'll be anchoring our noon news on Channel 19. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News Now. Have a great afternoon.
19 News is everywhere. Download our CTV apps and follow